Hi, I'm Mary Bryson. I'm the Financial Manager for Veslet Property Management. I'm here today to talk to you about a few items, specifically about the owner statement. We get a lot of questions from owners about how to read that statement. Sometimes it can be confusing, so I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you how to read it easier and some tips on how to get the information that you need. Rent is due to our office by noon on the 5th. Beginning on the 6th, we start running reports to let us know which tenants haven't paid, and we send out communication to them. We send them a pay rent or quit letter in the mail. We also send them a pay rent or quit letter via email, so that there's two ways that they will receive the information. This letter just asks them to get in touch with our office regarding their rent, that we haven't received the current month's rent for them. We also go in at that time and apply a late fee to any tenant who hasn't paid by the due date. After that, on the 6th, I start processing payments to the owners. So you may not get a payment on the 6th. It depends on how the tenants have paid. If they've paid by the 5th, or perhaps they've paid by a check or an e-payment. If that's the case, then you will get one of the payments later in the month. But if you do get a payment on the 6th, then I will process those payments and you'll either get a check from us or you will get a direct deposit. If you're one of our owners who hasn't had the direct deposit set up, you'll need to go to your owner portal and set your banking information up. If you have questions about that, feel free to email me or give me a call at the office. I'd be glad to walk you through that, setting that up for you. Here's a sample of our owner statement. And just by looking at this one, just 3 pages long. And what does this tell me? Well, first of all, it tells you the period that we're reporting. So this particular period is March of 2011. It should have your name as the owner, and it will have on here due to owner. This is the amount of the check or the direct deposit that you will be receiving once the payment has been fully processed. So this is basically a summary section of your statement. So you can just skip through that. This is also some summary information, so go ahead and skip through that until you find the first property. Now, if you are an owner that only has one property, it'll be very simple. If you have more than one property, they will appear in succession on your owner statement. A lot of times when I'm looking at an owner statement, especially if there are multiple properties, I like to just highlight off the individual properties so that I can just concentrate on that one property. So for this particular property, 1234 South Street, you can see that on the 1st, the tenant paid the rent of $1,000. This is the amount of the rent, and this is how much they paid, $1,000. This is the income. Below that, you have expenses. What type of expenses are there? There are almost always management fees. So under management fees, on the 6th, you'll see $100. That's the 10% management fee that was charged for accepting the rent for that month. Below management fees are repairs. These are the repair invoices, the maintenance invoices that have been charged for this property to your portfolio. So the first bill is for K&S Contracting, and it's for $100. The second bill is for Bushwood Heating and Air, and it's for $50. So the total amount of repairs is $150. The total amount of management fees is $100. You add those together, and that will give you the total expenses for that property. Now, if you look back up at the total income, $1,000. If you take the total expenses from the total income, that gives you the total net income for that property, $750. This is something that happens sometimes. The rent amount is $850. However, only $700 has been paid toward the rent. So when we assess management fees, we assess management fees on the amount that was paid, not the amount that was due. So when you're looking at this property, the amount of management fees taken for that payment was 10%, so it's $70. The total management fees, $70. For this property, we have 3 maintenance bills, 2 for K&S Contracting and 1 for Bushwood Heating and Air. And just as the one above, they're all itemized here and there's the total for the maintenance. You add the management fee total, you add the total repair amount, and that gives you the total expenses for this property. When you take those total expenses from the amount of rent that was paid, here is the total net income for that property. So let's go back and look at where do I come up with the amount that I pay you for your owner draw. If you'll go back to the first property and look at the total net income, in this case it's $750, and then you go to your second property and you add the $750 to the total net income for the second property, which was $244. That gives you $994, and that is the amount that I will pay you when I process your owner draw. As you look through this owner statement, you'll notice that this owner has 3 properties. The last property on this owner statement, 456 Jump Street, has zeros. That means that the tenant has not paid the rent for the current month, so we have received no income. Later in the month, we will receive the rent for that third property I was telling you about, 456 Jump Street. When we receive that rent, then you will get another owner draw and you'll get another owner statement. And this owner statement builds off the first one that I showed you earlier. So when you're looking through, you can see that the information on the other 2 properties, 1234 South Street and 789 Overdrive, that information is still showing on this owner statement because it goes on a monthly basis. However, now for this third property, you see that now the tenant has paid their rent, $975. We've applied the 10% management fee, and here are the bills that are related to that property. And the net income is $677.50. That's only for that. That's for that one property. So if we go back up to our summary page, you can see that due to owner is $677.50. All of these other figures, the income, the expenses, and the management fees, those have changed, adding to those figures the information for the third property. You will also see a new line that didn't have information before, draws. The $944 is the first draw that you received for the month. You can see that also in this case under equity owner draw. It says that on March the 6th, 2011, I processed an owner draw for $994. So the second owner draw that the owner will receive this month is $677.50. Sometimes it helps if you've received multiple owner statements throughout the month. If you just lay all the ones that you've received side by side and just go down through line by line and see what the differences are. You can see this is the first one that the owner received on March the 6th. So right off the bat, they can tell that they're receiving more income, which is usually the case. So I would suggest that you just simply go through, look at each property, and start with the net income, the total net income for both properties. If it's the same, if the most recent statement is the same as the previous statement, then there's no change for that property. So continue to look through your owner statement until you do find a difference or a change. So I'm looking at the second property, the total net incomes are the same. And then when I get to the third property, I can see that that's where the change occurred. That's why I'm receiving another owner statement and I'm receiving more money for this month. Thanks for watching today. If we haven't answered a specific question that you have, we'd be more than happy to do a video segment on that at a future date. So send your suggestions to me. I'll be glad to take a look at them.